That's Nick.
And that's Joseph, and today we're here to talk about Cats, which opened on December 20th, courtesy of Universal Pictures.
So I had seen a touring production of Cats maybe like almost 20 years ago, and I remember not liking it because I didn't like the music and there wasn't really a story. I think, Cats is one of the longest running productions on Broadway.
It's the fourth.
Now it is, but back then it was the longest running. So I think probably what would explain that is the costuming. I think seeing it live in the theater, it was magical.
I was having a conversation with someone as well. I think part of the unsaid appeal of Cats is the sex appeal of it, because of how people were dressed and the nipples and the lumps and bumps you'd see on these actors.
The costuming,
the sexuality
and
of Cats,
seeing it like live. So I didn't expect to fall in love with the story. I think watching the initial imagery from the film, I think we all on social media agreed it looked terrible. So we saw this movie 2 weeks ago?
A little over, about a week ago.
A week ago. And it is worse than I thought because it's not any fun. But
no, it's very it's one of the most tedious things I've had to sit through for quite some time, I thought.
Yeah, in an actual theater, that was probably one of the most tedious things
because I think also we should preface this, well, at least myself, I love good B film, I love trash cinema, I love showgirls, and this could have been...
This could have been fun.
This could have gone in so many different directions, and I want to say I think what you needed was a queer director, perhaps, that understands camp.
Well, okay, so first, who directed this film?
Tom Hooper.
Who has done...
Not a single film I've liked, but he did The Damned United, he did The King's Speech, which won Best Picture, and because of that dull thing winning Best Picture, then we were treated to Les Misérables and Russell Crowe singing, and The Danish Girl, which was also a film I didn't like, and which also should have been a queer film that feels more like it was for and calibrated by straight people. So
can you describe the plot of Cats, the film?
It opens with a cat getting thrown away, who's known, we come to find, as Victoria, and basically she gets introduced to this world of cats called the Jellicles, and on the night that she gets thrown out, she learns that the Jellicles are getting ready for their yearly ball, or I guess
I thought it was more like American Idol.
They all get together for the head cat's old Deuteronomy
played by Judi Dench, Dame Judi Dench.
The first time that character's been played by a woman, to select a lucky cat to ascend into the Heaviside layer,
which
and then
I thought was really funny, but
basically kind of be reincarnated into a different life. Also, the original it's based on a 1939 book of poetry by T.S. Eliot, Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats. And then Andrew Lloyd Webber in the late 70s and early 80s set music to that.
Yes.
So a lot of this are remnants from that, which...
Well, let's start with the positive. What do you like about this film?
There was nothing I liked about this film.
I liked James Corden.
He played
a fat gay cat.
Yes.
Or I want to believe the cat was gay. I thought he did a really good job. He was funny.
He was mildly entertaining. Buster for Jones.
Of course, the big song from Cats is
Memory,
which is performed by Grisabella, played by Jennifer Hudson.
Who, I like, if I close my eyes, she sounds fine, but they make her look so fucking crazy.
She looks so downtrodden, and then I just don't understand why. I felt like it should have been played by an older...
Well, the stage origination
characterization
is Elaine Page, a white lady. I couldn't help but think, you remember, you're a big fan of Chorus Line. And the 80s film version of that, I think it's Richard Attenborough directed it, but Michael Douglas is in it. They tried to do something different, like a different entry, a different kind of some different supporting information for some of those characters that flesh them out a little better. To me, this would have been something that would have been a lot of fun if it was about a troupe of actors staging cats, and then as a way to kind of subvert some things, make some interesting commentary. But as it is, it also takes away the enjoyment of watching grown-up people pretend to be cats, and you just have these actors there with this fuzzy-ass filter over them that's doing all the work.
So you said it looks like a Snapchat filter.
It does.
And I agree.
It looks like the gender change.
Yeah, the CGI is not good. And then you just read today
that the studio tried to clean that up a bit, and 2 days after the theatrical release, has sent out new prints of the film.
So we saw it before
Yes.
it was refreshed. But yeah, the CGI is not good. It's pretty distracting. I also thought, I don't recall from seeing it like the stage production, but I would say I only understood about 50% of the lyrics. It felt very jumbled, and I don't know if that was just the singing of particularly Jason Derulo's character.
Rum Tum Tugger.
Didn't understand most of what he was, like the actual lyrics.
But we're talking, this is lyrical content that was taken from the late 30s, basically.
But I mean, I just couldn't understand the words. Like, they weren't clear or enunciated in a way that, like, it was just unintelligible to me. So that made it very tedious.
And it doesn't help that the song, because it's basically one song stapled onto another one right after each other.
Yeah.
And none of them really go together.
No.
There's not really any story. And then you have this, there's this shit going on with McCavity in the background who's stealing these...
McCavity, played by Idris Elba,
Yeah.
who, I mean...
A bulgeless... I like how Taylor Swift and Rebel Wilson get these little, lumps here, but the male cats are all...
Don't have penises.
Neutered, I guess.
So, Idris Elba is in this film for some reason. I guess doing what he could with what he was given.
I think they're all doing that.
Yeah.
You can't really blame any of the
Rebel
cast,
Wilson, I don't... I know she's in Pitch Perfect, so... But
Chelsea and Jojo Rabbit is enough.
Seeing her sing and dance was not appealing at all.
And also, did you notice, there's the scene where she has to unpeel herself? I think it's when she's coming out of the chains. And then,
she takes off her catsuit.
But she has still a catsuit on underneath with a dress.
Whatever.
It doesn't make any sense.
So there's that. There's Jason Derulo playing like a sexy cat, but again...
Well, he's supposed to be kind of a bad boy, I think. Rum Tum Tugger, too.
Sure. But I thought that characterization was weird. Taylor Swift... I'm not going to badmouth her, because she actually wasn't the worst part.
She wasn't.
She just drops in, sings a song, and leaves.
Although halfway through I turned to you, the character Victoria, who's played by Francesca Hayward, I kept saying, is that Taylor Swift? Because I'm like, it's kind of a pretty white girl.
I thought that girl was all CGI because it looks so funny. Like, her face is so bland.
She's so ashy.
Well, it's just so bland and
But for halfway through the film, I was like, oh wait, that's not Taylor Swift. That's how distinctive I think Taylor Swift looks.
Well,
but
I don't really have anything to say. I guess we saw a screening of it at the Chinese, so there were a lot of people on that screening, and a lot of people were excited and clapping. I think they love theater. They may have been fans of the musical, I would hope.
Yeah.
I think. So I guess if you're a fan of the musical, you would like this movie.
You'll be tickled by it, maybe. But since we're a couple of non-theater, music theater homosexuals, so there was.
I can appreciate theater or musicals, but this one, I mean, there is the one character who's singing on the railway ties at the end that people seemed really excited about. I didn't like it, but I can imagine seeing a live production of it, being very enthralled by the dancing and the singing. But in the film, it just looks like, you know what it looks like? The animation from Polar Express.
Yeah, it's not good.
Like, really weird,
and also
distracting.
The poster reminds me of the poster work for Sleepwalkers, the cat horror movie, which I much prefer to this. I don't think Tom Hooper, between this and Les Misérables, which
he needs to leave musicals alone.
He needs to leave musicals alone and let the homosexuals do what they do, I guess, because...
So what would you give this film?
This is... I guess I don't really believe in giving zeros, but I guess half a star out of 5.
I would give it half a star out of 5.
But again, that's to preface... I like trash cinema. I like campy cinema.
But this is not meant to be camp or trash.
It's just... It's dull. It's a missed opportunity. I love cat horror. We have a bathroom decorated in cat horror posters.
Yeah, but Cats is not about cat horror.
No, but I mean, like, there's nothing.
I think what you're talking about is like it could have been handled differently.
There are so many different ways this could have gone, and even I think Andrew Lloyd Webber provided new tracks for it too. It's
a flop to me.
This was tedious.
Anything else?
No.
Okay, bye.
Bye.